Hello, everyone. Welcome to Harv's World on a Sunday, Mother's Day. Big news today. Well, semi-big news. Not necessarily good news, but big news. Eric, Dustin S., and Mr. Prolinsky, Kevin, getting us started off now. As they should be, as they absolutely should be, Sharko and Caveman are spending the day with their mothers. So you got Harv today. Just me. That's it. That's all. No mo. Just Harv. And yeah, I'm finally taking advantage of this little bit of placeables land that we bought up over here. I decided, well, no sense in just letting it sit here doing nothing. So I'm gonna put some. I think I'm just gonna put grass in here. Sparky, how's it going, bud? David Smith. Good to see you, man. Tell Glenda I said hi and happy Mother's Day to her. This is Mother's Day. We are going to talk about our moms. I want to hear about your mothers. Some of us don't have them around anymore, like myself, and I don't think we ever stop wishing we did. No matter how old you get, there are days when you just go, man, I wish I could talk to my mom. And I'm sure plenty of you know what I'm talking about. Graham, buddy, how's it going, man? And of course it's raining, so there's not much. Well, there's still plenty you can do during the rain, but this isn't going to take long. Probably end up getting into June before this is over for sure. Yeah, only hard. It's been a long time since I've done a solo stream. Even on Friday, even when I managed to do the impromptus on Friday. Usually somebody shows up to hang. Been doing good, Dustin. Been doing good. Good to see you back, man. It's been a while. I hope everything's going well for you. But yep, you just got little old Harv today. Now, just to get us started off, I'll tell you the big news right now is, unfortunately or fortunately, I do have a place to live and I am moving this week. So that means I'm not going to have internet for a little bit, which means no streaming. So this is going to be the last stream for at least a couple of weeks. Hopefully 2 weeks from today I'll be back up and running. Keep your fingers crossed. I totally understand, David. Yep, I have been there, brother. Well, Mother's Day in the U.S., Graham. I don't know about anywhere else in the world. If it's, there are plenty of other countries that celebrate Mother's Day. If it's not Mother's Day for you per se, that doesn't mean that you should only think about your mom and be nice to her one day a year, right? We love our moms. I miss my mom terribly. It's been quite some time. I'm trying to think. Was that 2000? I think it was 2011 that I lost my mother. Or maybe that was no 2011. I think it was 2009 actually. And then my dad was a few years after that. But they lived reasonably good lives, and especially my mom. She put up with a ton of crap from my dad. Absolutely, fun boy. Absolutely, brother. My mom was a very religious person. She was very devout. Tried to live up to that standard as much as she possibly could. She was really big into crafting, cross-stitch, knitting, anything like that. She was an avid reader. But most of her time was spent putting up with her kids' crap. I'm going to ask you guys this question too, and I thought about this morning. If there were two things I could say to my mom if she was alive today, the first one obviously is, I love you. And the second one would be, I'm sorry I haven't always been the person you wanted me to be. If I could talk to my mom, those are the two things I would say to her. What about you guys? Even those of you who still have your mothers, think about those things that you don't you don't say. You know, maybe they go unspoken. But if you could say something to your mother right now, and of course, thank you would be on that list as well. Outstanding, Kevin. I know you guys have a great relationship, Kevin. It's really impressive when I hear you talk about it. And it makes me very happy that you found somebody like that to share your life with, man. Dustin, to answer your question, it's the same job. I'm in a training program for my job, and hope this should be the, well, so as part of the training, this should be the last move. This one was unexpected. I'm not going to go into details about why it happened. We'll just say it was necessary. But then once I finish this training program and get my full-time assignment, there's going to be one more move, because the offices that I train in obviously have somebody already there doing my job. So I'll have to go find a vacancy. Luckily, there are plenty of vacancies all over the United States. So that should not be an issue. I just don't know where I'll end up yet, permanently anyway. And as much as I hate moving, it's going to be a good thing in the long run. And God, I hate moving. Oh, David, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Eggs Benedict. And I hope she came through it well. If she's having Eggs Benedict already, then sounds to me like her surgery went very well. So I'm glad to hear that too. And right, Kevin? Absolutely. Thank you for everything. That's what we need to tell our moms more often. Just thank you in general, right? It's human nature to take our caregivers for granted a little bit, especially our parents. You know, because that's their job. That's what they do. And I don't think parents are looking for thanks. I think thanks for parents comes in the form of, you got an A on your report card, or you got into college, or you found a fantastic job that you're going to enjoy, or you're playing at that nightclub that you always wanted to sing at, or, you know, stuff like that. And I've never been a parent. I never got around to that in the world. In my world, anyway. So, for those of you who have, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, I'm sure you have many things to be proud of with your kids. I'd be really surprised to hear that you don't. I'm not gonna say that always happens, but I hope for the most part it does. For everybody. So I figured on this field, as odd as it may sound, I would put grass in. Oh, I'm going to pull a shark out. Almost. That was close. And I know we've talked about how sick of grass work we are, but we've also installed a second bakery, and we've got sugar, and we've got eggs. So I'm thinking maybe we need to get the dairy and start making cake too. Because we're making flour so bloody fast, we can't even remotely go through it fast enough. Good for you, fun boy. Yeah, absolutely. I can see where that would definitely be a proud father moment. Congratulations on that, man. Kevin's kids are his best friend. That is awesome. Oh, David. That's awful, man. I know there's always an exception to the rule. That's just a fact of life these days. No matter what you say, people are going to be able to come up with opposites and alternatives to the pleasant thoughts we're trying to have on this lovely Mother's Day that's, at least on this farm, completely loaded down with rain, but still. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I've kind of begun ignoring the news, because they shouldn't call it the news. They should call it the bad news. Man, you want to be depressed? Go read the bloody news. Good Lord. Oh, wow. Congratulations, Destin. Married in Hawaii. That had to be fun. And hopefully very worth it. I'm sure it is, or you wouldn't have done it. I'm sure you found a lovely girl to be your wife and start a family with. It sounds like you're a bonus parent, so it sounds like you brought a new kid. Or she brought her kid with her. I wish you all happiness and the best of luck, man. So at least a few fun facts about Mother's Day. I kind of was thinking about this today too. Um, so Mother's Day is the busiest day of the year for phone calls, at least in the U.S. More phone calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year. And there's only 2 days of the year that beat out Mother's Day for flowers. I bet most of you can think of one of them. And it's not Valentine's Day, so I'll tell you that much. Um, More flowers are bought for Mother's Day than any other days of the year except for Christmas and Hanukkah. I'll bet it was, Dustin. I'll bet it was. Talk about a romantic spot. I mean, is there anything about Hawaii that doesn't have some air of romance to it? Honestly. I do not say that sarcastically. Like, you think about going to Hawaii and yeah. And there's so many fascinating things in Hawaii. The cultural stuff, and of course they've got the volcanoes, and then it's tropical. You get a little bit of everything, but my understanding is Hawaii is very expensive. You were right, Graham. You were right. Christmas is one of them. Christmas and Hanukkah are the two biggest flower shopping days. Mother's Day comes in third. That's kind of good to know. People are actually doing and thinking about their moms on the day that was intended. I'm happy to hear that. What else have we learned about Mother's Day? One of the earliest Mother's Day celebrations was in ancient Greece. They used to have spring celebrations in honor of Rhea, the goddess of fertility and motherhood. That's kind of cool. I like it when ancient cultures, traditions from ancient cultures make their way into the mainstream later. There are two women responsible for Mother's Day. I don't remember the first one, but the second one, her name was Anne Jarvis. She's the woman who's responsible for creating the Mother's Day that we know. And in fact, over time, she became a little bit resentful of it because it became too commercialized. And she didn't like the commercialization of it. But Anne Jarvis is the person who created Mother's Day. Oh, Kevin got married in a courtyard with a waterfall. There's so many, I mean, in the States even, and I'm sure, in the UK and Europe in general and all over the world, there are some amazing wedding venues. But I know No matter what type of wedding you want, you can find a really nice wedding venue to go to. Some folks have even taken and restored their old barns and turned those into wedding areas, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Especially the old round barns. I'm anybody who's followed me for a while knows Harv loves old round barns. Absolutely, I've got a fascination with them. They're very, very cool. The PC Geek. So you recently picked up FS22, a mod like the CSZ Big Bag Handler from 19. I do not, PC Geek. I haven't seen anything come out like that yet. Not that it's much consolation. I do know that pallet handling in general is improved from 19. I'm not going to say it's great or perfect. And I'm assuming you're on console. Otherwise, I mean, most PC players ask about auto load pallets. There is, as Graham can tell you, because I know he uses this quite a bit, there's a liftable pallets mod. And there just came out a liftable bales mod. So if you wanted to hand move your pallets or bales, you can do that on console now. But I have not seen a big bag handler mod yet. I want to say somebody did do some type of CSZ pack, but it wasn't the same pack that we had in 19. Oh, you're playing on PC? And some people just want the realism of hand-moving stuff, too. No, I don't know of anything yet that really improves the functionality. Auto loads, though. I mean, there's plenty of auto load stuff available these days if you just don't want to hassle with the pallets. Yeah, that's fair, PC Geek. I used to use it for that too occasionally. Yeah, we don't have one yet, unfortunately. If you are on PC, I mean, there are plenty of ways to add super strength to your game too, so you can hand move anything. So you don't need to worry about the liftable pallets or liftable bales, but again, you might not, some players want that level of realism. And I totally get that. But we just don't have it yet. Still a fairly young game, though. Not to make excuses, but 22, in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to what 19, how long 19 lasted, it's still a pretty young game. Mr. Inadequate, happy Mother's Day to you and yours as well. Outside park near water, getting married, very nice. For Mother's Day this year, you took your mom to a theme park. Oh, that's interesting, actually. You don't generally hear about mothers who want to go roller coastering. I do so have access to this land. What are you talking about? I must have overplowed on that end or something. Well. That is not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. Yeah, we'll get it on this. There we go. That'll work. Yeah, it's not quite the same thing, David. The big bag handler was a little bit of a misnomer in FS19. I'm sure you've seen it. It was actually, it looked like you could pick up big bags with it. It had the prongs on it. but it also had straps you could activate that would wrap around underneath different objects. Pretty much anything you had it close to, it would latch onto with the straps. So it made it very handy when hey Midge, how's it going, man? And I absolutely agree with you. That would be nice to see too, so that you could buy one piece of equipment and then buy an adapter and be able to use it on multiple tools instead of having to buy a separate one for every application or instance you wanted to use it. Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool, Mr. Inadequate. Yeah, this is a nice little spot, actually. Hobo's Hollow is a little bit, well, especially if you want a placeables area. There's some weird oddness about it, and I only say that because there's one placeables area that you have to spend half 600, 700,000 or something, because it's linked to like 10 other placeable areas. They're all around the map, so you end up buying a whole bunch of stuff you don't need. And it's actually an issue with a spot right next to where we set up our farm. But we didn't know about it when we set up the farm, so. Phantom, yes, I am on PC. Absolutely. Never got a feel for consoles. I have played a little bit on them, just not much. I've been a PC gamer guy for 30 years. Maybe longer than that. 35 at least. That's why for the longest time I was happy using keyboard and mouse. No controllers, just give me my keyboard, that's all I need. But now the remarkable Jonathan, whom we haven't seen in quite some time, I hope he's doing well. And I know he spends a lot of time helping out his mother, so hopefully that's going well for them too today. He hooked me up with the Logitech heavy equipment bundle, and I gotta tell you, I'm spoiled by it now. Terribly spoiled by it. I don't think I could go back to just keyboard and mouse again. I see how you guys how you guys get with this stuff. Is that going? Yeah, it is. All right, good. Yeah, lots of quality of life improvements in FS22. PC Geek. I don't know if you played 19 at all. 19 was a very, very good game, don't get me wrong. Rock solid, but for the most part, 22 is an improvement. And a lot of that has to do with just little things that they've added that make it that much better. I would like to see that, Midge. More options to shift your tools left and right. So if you don't line up exactly perfectly, you don't have to fiddle around with backing and trying to back into the right spot and that kind of junk. Yeah, absolutely. Lisa O'Mahony, how are you? I hope you're having a good day. And I'm not sure I understand. Oh, why is the stream for my mom? I think I understand. It's for everyone's mom. I'll be honest. You know, uh, but it just seemed appropriate since this is Mother's Day in the United States. Maybe you're not in the United States, but today is Mother's Day today here, and I was thinking about my mom, and I actually get choked up a little bit when I even start to talk about her, as you might have noticed. But it just seemed appropriate. the mom was not into farming. She was not into video games at all. And we didn't have the same taste in books. Even though I'm an avid reader and she was very much an avid reader, I actually convinced her to read The Hobbit at one point. And that was the last book she ever read that I suggested. But I've gone back and read some of the books that she's enjoyed, and they are similar. But, it's just for moms everywhere, really. So it wasn't necessarily for my mom, it was just for mom. But to this day, and there are plenty of fine ladies in the world, but my mom will always be the best of you. I'm sorry. And I hope you have the luck to feel the same way about your own mothers. I know, family can be complicated. It doesn't always work. Oh, I took that stupid fertilizer spreader back and I'm going to need it one more time. Duh, Harv. So mothers everywhere, if nothing else, we're thinking about you. Lisa, this is one of the best. This is the Kinsey, and this is a modified version by our good friend, and normally he's streaming with me on days like today, Caveman, but he's spending the day with his mother. And but this will seed and plant just about everything that doesn't require a specialized planter like potatoes or sugarcane, but it will do everything else. Plus, it also has a built-in field roller, so after we plant with this thing, we do not have to roll anymore. And I'm just botching this. Links are available to Caveman's mods on the Harvesville Discord. He's got his own channel on there, and he's linked because he's got an itch.io site, and this would be for PC only, unfortunately. He has been working to try to get on Mod Hub, just hasn't been successful yet. Giants is very, very particular about what they allow on there. But so right now they're available to anybody who wants to download them from his itch.io or from modnetwork.com. Oh, Bruce, I'm so sorry to hear that. I totally understand where you're coming from, man. 50 years on the farm. That is impressive. And I'll tell you what, that's another thing, about farmers in general and farm wives as well. Everybody works on the farm. Bruce can back me up on this. But not only that, you don't retire. I mean, I think even the farmers who could say that they're retired never fully retire. And that's especially true of mothers. Mothers never get to retire. Never ever. Absolutely, Mr. Inadequate. Glad to hear you say that, man. Fun boy, your mom's amazing. 70 years old and refuses to retire. She tried it once and hated it, so she just works. And her and your dad go on holiday 5 times a year. Very nice, man. Very nice. My mom did the same thing, actually. She tried to retire and didn't enjoy it. And she actually went back to work at the same job for a pay cut because they couldn't find anybody to replace her. And that's the absolute truth. Oh, very nice, Eric. Getting an internet boost. Outstanding. There we go. We've got grass. Lucky us. Well, I hope everybody, everybody who's watching has had the luxury of having a fantastic mother. So much goes into being a mother. It's one of the things on this planet that I have more respect for than just about any other occupation. Because, you know, you ladies out there, you moms, and guys, I think a lot of you will acknowledge this as well. Mothers wear many, many hats. They got to be a little bit of everything. Counselors, caregivers, nurse, chef, bottle washer, entertainer, and they must, above all things, have the patience, all the patience that they can muster, especially when you have a son like me. Atomic Sneeze, how you doing, bud? Oh, absolutely, Mr. Inadequate. Totally. You go have take care of your wife. Have a good day, and I appreciate you stopping in, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, the rain finally stopped. That's good. Not that it matters much, but all right. I need the fertilizer, and I need. I'll take it with me just in case, because I'll have to come back anyway. Or so I don't have to come back. And I agree too, Kevin, that moms have to have an amazing amount of patience, especially if they have a son like me. No, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, David, I actually was I was reading up on Mother's Day today, obviously, getting ready to talk to all of you, and I read a thing today that said that if mothers were paid the way they should be paid based on other careers in the world, that sort of thing. Oh, that would be why. That their salary comparative to other occupations would be in the $160,000 a year range. 160,000 US is what mothers should be paid. Well, that's another fun fact about Mother's Day, by the way, that Mother's Day is one of the busiest days of the year for most restaurants. I hope that doesn't include McDonald's. Take your moms out somewhere nice. They deserve it. I understand, Eric. I understand. Oh, so you're getting this set up in over the summer? Very cool, man. Very cool. Now, we are still planning to do our $1,000,000 a month playthrough. Honestly, one of the biggest struggles we're having right now is finding the right map. So I feel like to pull this off, we need at least a 4X map, and there just haven't been too many great 4X maps coming out yet. Not ones that would hold anybody's interest for very long. There's some nice ones. I guess maybe I just set my standards too high. I don't know. And I guess I should have checked the fertilizer level on this because it's just patchy. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, I should get out and just check this field. Okay, that's what I thought. We don't need a weeder on this. But if I hadn't brought it with me, we would have. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean. That's the way things work out for Harv. If I think I should do something and I don't, then I should have. And I hate making multiple trips back and forth. Michael Turner, that is a good point. Alien Jim finally came out with a second map. It looks like what we'll call a new version of No Man's Land called the Western Wilds. It's another map where you can build it up how you want it. Empty spaces. Oh, and this was particularly interesting. At least I found it particularly interesting. Call me crazy if you want to, but he has been able to add a texture on the map, that you can just paint, and you can go in and paint fields. The only downside apparently is that if you like collecting rocks or stones and make limestone out of it or whatever, painting a field instead of plowing it takes away the ability to collect rocks. But maybe that's an advantage for you. If you hate the stones or always turn them off anyway, then you can paint fields without even thinking about it. Yeah, we've been talking about that too, Graham. Waiting on something to change things up. I think everybody's had their fill of Elm Creek at this point. Okay. So we've got a grass field. If we want cows in the future, we now have the ability to make them feed. And yeah, you've told me before, Kev, how hard Karen works, man. She does. She wears a lot of hats, not just as a mother, but in her occupation. She's kind of a restaurant manager, caterer, a little bit of everything. But 8 a.m. until midnight. You never get to see her, and she never gets any sleep. Those are some long hours, brother. I agree with that. I agree with that, Michael. I like the plowing process. There's something about plowing a new field or joining two fields. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. I was like, I thought we had stuff parked over here. Yeah, we do. It's just over here. our big junk. But yeah, I like the plowing process. Okay. That takes care of that. That's kind of everything I had planned to get done for May, so I think it might be just time to jump into June, and if my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, when we get to June, I think we'll have crops to harvest. Oh, that's right, Graham. Gold. There are gold nuggets, and we'll put that on the dedicated server if that's what you guys want. Alien Jim always adds interesting little things to his maps. We're gonna get up early. There we go. That's right, Kevin. And apparently you like to drop trees on my head as well. There aren't many people who are actually going to know what I'm talking about there, but for those of you who do, kudos. Yep. Oh man, 2 fields to harvest. This is going to be interesting with no help today. Okay. Time to get our oats in. Oats or canola first? I almost think canola, because I can manage the canola right here, and then I'll go start working on the oats, because the oats are going to be a long process because they have straw. So let's get the canola done first. Hey FF, how's it going, man? What's the good word? There we go. Canola for the win. Or for oil. I hadn't heard anything about Alien Gems map allowing you to wash stones for gold. That was very much a thing on Yukon, and I don't know if that was in FS19, so I don't know if Yukon has brought that back in. I've heard that Yukon is quite a different map from what it was in FS19 too. Glad to hear it, FF. I saw that post where you're looking for a roommate, which would have been interesting if you got any hits off of that, because, you know, the folks at Harv's World are all over the world. There's a few people from the Midwest like yourself. This is our new field. We didn't even plant this canola, we just bought it. And everybody, I would like to throw out there, keep Lifehawk. You guys have seen him in chat plenty of times, I'm sure. Remember him from the Discord if you've been on there. But he's very, very sick right now. And he actually ended up catching the COVID. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Hope he's getting plenty of rest and being well cared for. It's not like, you know, some people end up being hospitalized and such. He's actually managing it fairly well, but oh, I see. Okay, man. I did read the description, but probably skimmed that part of it or something and didn't quite pick up on it. So anyway, yeah, keep Lifehawk in your thoughts and prayers. He seems to be doing okay and handling it fairly well, but you know, COVID, that thing we're all sick to death of hearing about, still is catching us by surprise occasionally. He had a week of celebrations, family related celebrations, and apparently he had had quarantined himself too well during the COVID crisis, so he was never ever exposed to it. And once he was finally out and amongst all of those folks, of course, he was ripe for the pickings. Very nice, FF. Sounds like you're getting your ducks in a row, man. Very cool. And then I know you were going to technical school, but you said it once you got into it, you decided that really wasn't for you. So you changed your plan. I don't remember what it was that you told us you're doing. Or are you just working and trying to get your finances in order right now? But I thought you told us that you had something else you were pursuing at this point. The car needs a new engine. Yeah, that would kind of stink. It sort of makes it not a car, it makes it more of a paperweight. Or a lawn ornament. That car without an engine isn't going very far unless it's pointed downhill. Oh, nice. Trade school for what? Do you know yet, or I'll tell you, that's a big issue right now. Is that there was such a push in the '80s and '90s to get kids to go to college, and when I was growing up, it was, the only way to get a good job is to have a college degree. Well, that worked so well that they're having trouble getting people to go into exceptionally well-paid occupations now, like carpenters, plumbers, and electricians. They're in high demand these days, and they pay very, very, very well. We're talking 30, 40, $50 an hour once you get through your apprenticeships. So, college ain't for everybody, and it doesn't have to be. There you go, Atomic Sneeze. That's the right spin. That's what I should have said. A car without an engine is a project. Well said. Well played. Yeah, Sparky knows. Sparky's an electrician. Am I wrong, Sparky? HVAC as well. Heating and cooling installation and repair. I know, well, my best friend, his dad was an HVAC guy and made a very good living for his family. His wife didn't have to work at all. Not that she couldn't have if she wanted to, but yeah, that's kind of what I meant by getting through your apprenticeships and all of that. $41 an hour building bridges. For $41 an hour, I might build a bridge. Yeah, right, Sparky? Absolutely. I might be able to harvest this field without a chaser bid. Thanks to this big, fat harvester, courtesy of Stevie's. And this massive header, courtesy of Mod Hub. I don't remember the modder who made this. It's really in need of a paint job, though. Look at that. It's practically all worn off. It's shiny metal now. That's kind of cool, actually. I like the shiny metal look better than the paint. That's a really good point, too, Sparky. Those skilled trades like that, you can take them anywhere. You might have to adjust your thinking because different parts of the world, like for electricians, different parts of the world use different types of electricity. But I'm sure trade schools and apprenticeships and whatnot um, prepare you for both. I can't imagine they wouldn't. At $41 an hour, FF, that almost sounds like an engineer. I mean, that's an engineer's level pay. Surely that's not just for a construction, as a construction worker building bridges. But what do I know? Look at that. He's already started calculating how much he would make gross at $41 an hour, just like the rest of us. We're like, ooh, look at that. Look at that big fat sugar beet harvest contract that's going to pay me $80,000 an hour. Or $80,000. Yeah, let's try that because I can make a lot of money really quick. And sorry, thank you for playing. That's a sugar beet contract. And nobody does a sugar beet contract quick. All right, FF, I'll take your word for it, man. Oh, so you're going to be one of those guys we all get frustrated with because you're slowing us down and we've got places to be. Yeah, especially welders, Sparky. That's a good point. You're getting the right job as a welder. You can make a really good living too. With the way housing shortages are right now, I would expect when things get back to back to normal, carpenters are going to be in a big demand too. Even just framers and drywallers and all of that kind of stuff. Well, I hope you get it, FF. That would hook you up quite nicely, man. We'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Toes, eyes, arms, legs, and any other body part we can manage to cross. They're welcome ahead of time. There you go. Don't take any crap off of them. That's right. Oh, so okay, I get it. It's a construction company basically that does civil work and gets contracted by the state to build bridges. I got you now. Oh, that's without a doubt, FF. Underwater welding is dangerous business. We're not talking about just a few feet under either. We're talking about, deep sea oil platforms and the like. About half done. This is going pretty quick. Well, the sad part is, Eric, is all of that burnt wood, nobody wants it. They can't get rid of it. They can't give it away. They can't even get logging companies to come in and take it out, and the majority of the wood is still good. It's got a burnt outer shell, but otherwise it could still be cut into lumber. And for whatever reason, I visited a burned out area late last fall, or early last fall, I should say, late last summer, early last fall. And yeah, I mean, they were going to have thousands of tons of timber to take out in order to restore the forest, and nobody would come and take it. It was they were chopping it up for firewood and giving it away to the residents and such. Kevin. No comment. No, I do miss having the guys here, but I'm glad that they have the opportunity to spend the day with their moms, and I'm glad they take that seriously. They're not taking it for granted. And I couldn't afford to miss the stream today because, like I said, it's going to be a couple weeks before we're back. I hope 2 weeks from today, but that depends on the internet getting hooked up and what I can find over there, because I'm starting to feel like I might not be able to get as fast of internet as I have right now, which makes no sense because I'm in a very tiny town right now, and I'm going to be moving to a town that has 7 times more people, like over 20,000 people, but the internet providers don't seem to be quite. Anyway, I'll find out this week exactly what I'm going to have. Wet Coaster, how's it going, bud? Happy Mother's Day to the women in your life. Well, as much as Sharko and Caveman have joined me on the streams also, I have done an awful lot of more farming solo than I have with anybody else. Just saying. It will be nice to get moved, though. My nephew, you've met him on in chat from time to time, Mr. Corbin Benjamin, is coming out, and he's flying out day after tomorrow to help me with this whole process, which will be very, very nice. It'd be good to see him. Haven't seen him in quite some time, and yeah, we'll hang out in Reno for a while. I don't want to make his vacation into a complete work thing. That is quite the handle, I have to say, and I hope I don't butcher it, but it's Theo Kretschmann Schuldorf. Hello, good to meet you. Good to have you with us. I think I would have remembered if I'd seen you chatting with us before, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. But welcome, glad to have you with us. It would take longer to get you set up, FF, than than we'd have time for you to play, man. We don't have you downloaded or anything for this. He is, Kevin. He's a really good kid. I say kid. He's in his 30s now. Very early 30s. He's still a kid to me, though, and probably always will be. It's the old fart in me. Is there anything else interesting about Mother's Day? I know there's over 80 million mothers in the United States. This is kind of interesting, actually. The reason that mothers are called mom is literally because ma is the first word or one of the first sounds that a baby can vocalize. And almost every language, the word for mother begins with an M. I thought that was pretty interesting. So babies decided what mom was going to be called a long, long time ago, because that's the only thing they could say. And of course, who doesn't want to be called something special by somebody, especially if it's their baby? Yeah, we already talked about Ann Jarvis. Mother's Day became an official thing in 1914 when Woodrow Wilson signed it into law. In 2018, $23 billion was spent on Mother's Day. And of course, the most popular gift is a greeting card, apparently followed by flowers. Yeah, there'd be plenty of mods to download FF, and we probably don't even have you hooked up with the mod manager yet, which I can't say enough about. Patrick, who's been in from time to time, and we've told everybody about this in the past, but he created an amazing mod manager for FS22. It is also linked in the Discord. Mr. E, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. Happy Mother's Day to you as well, to the ladies in your life. That's right, Kevin. And I'm sure every mother has felt that way at one point or another. Anybody remember boxing ears? Anybody remember somebody saying, "I'll box your ears"? That's a really, really old fart thing to say. I remember it from when I was a kid. I'll box your ears. Which basically means flicking them painfully. Oh, how much canola will we get? I'm thinking 160,000. And then God only knows what we're going to end up with for oats, because that is one seriously big honking field over there. Like the grass I planted today, that looks like our front yard compared to what most of the fields on Hobo's Hollow looks like. Well, I talked about that earlier too, Mr. E. My mom is no longer with us either. And I asked everybody what they would tell their mothers if they had the opportunity today. My two things were obviously I love you, and the second one is I'm sorry I was not always the person you hoped I would be. Boxing ears and tanning hides. That's right, Midge. Absolutely. Yes, tanning hides. Oh, I'd forgotten about that one. I'll tan your hide, boy. Mothers are amazing, amazing people. Oh, and since we're on it right now, so carnations are a big deal on Mother's Day. Carnations are sort of the symbol of Mother's Day, and depending on your mother's status, whether she is still with us or not, a red carnation indicates that she is still living, and a white carnation indicates that she has passed. So if you're going to church or doing something where you might wear a flower on your lapel and it's a Mother's Day, it's a simple way to let people know how things are with you. Paint your back porch red. That's a good one, Kevin. I haven't heard that one before, but that's a really good one. I'll paint your back porch red. See, parents can't say these things to their kids anymore because their kids will turn them into the cops or whatever. You can't even think about spanking your kid anymore. When I was growing up, the motto was spoil the rod or um, spare the rod and spoil the child. Grandpa will skin you alive. And I can remember being told to go play in traffic. Orchids, very nice. Good choice. My mom I remember she really loved mums. Chrysanthemums. She was very into chrysanthemums. And peonies. She really liked the peonies too. Hey Jordan, how's it going, bud? I hope you were spending time with your mother, man. That's what we're talking about today, our moms. Right now we're talking about the phrases they would use when we were screwing up. Wet Coaster has a good one. You stop crying and I'll give you something to cry about. Oh yeah, I heard that one plenty of times. Nice, Mr. E. Very nice. Sunflowers have one tattooed on the inside of your arm. That's very cool, man. Get me my belt. Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, nobody liked it when Dad took the belt off. Nope. Oh, I might have been off. We might. No. I think 160. I'm going to stick with that. Yep, I brought you into this world. I can take you out and wait till your father gets home. That's a very Leave It to Beaver thing to say. Those of you who are old enough to remember that show. That's right, FF. I'm pretty sure I brought that up a little bit earlier, but that's okay. It never hurts to be reminded. Oh man, we're getting almost 7,000 a pass here, so another 14. We're looking at over 100, almost over 170,000. So I was off by 10,000 liters or so. I didn't realize we were doing quite that well. See, it's not this field that I'm so worried about. It's that field over there. And what concerns me is that's an oat field, which means I'm going to be producing straw. A lot of straw that's going to need to be baled. Maybe I'll just make Sharko pull the baler by hand. Well, I hope you bought her some flowers, a card, and took her out to eat today then, Jordan. You started on your mom from day one. I think it took me a few years to be that hard on my mom. We do, though. We do. We take our moms for granted. All of us do. I don't think we do it on purpose. I think it's just something that happens kind of naturally. Like, it just happens. And I'm sure our moms did the same with their moms. So it is what it is. That's a good one, Kevin. Absolutely, your mom would get so mad she couldn't even figure out your name. She'd call you like every sibling's name, and then still couldn't figure out which name to call you. I remember a time when I was a teenager, and we had gone to this big park. It was like a church outing kind of thing, big cookout. Everybody was there, and I was hanging out with some other teenage boys. And one of them was being a real jerk. And believe it or not, his real name was Davy Crockett. That was his real name. He was being a total jerk that day, and he pushed me down this rocky hill, and I scraped up my arms and I scraped my knees and the whole 9 yards. And I suppose I thought we were out of earshot of everybody. And I let a few choice 4-letter words slip out. Okay, they didn't slip out; they flew out as dramatically as I could say them. And of course, somebody heard and ratted me out because there are too many people in the world who feel like they can get a leg up if they turn you in. So later, not at church, but or not at the picnic or anything, but later when we got home, my mom called me on it, and she's like, "I heard you were saying this and this and this and da 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 da," and I was like, "Yeah, he pushed me down the hill and made me mad. I scraped my elbows and my knees and all of this. Look at the damage that he did," and and she's like, what did she said something along the lines of um and I said I lost control, I got angry, and she's like, well, if you talk like that when you get angry, you must talk like that all the time. And I said, I've heard you say a few things when you were angry. And she's like, the only word I've ever used is such and such. And I said, well, if you use that word when you get angry, you must talk that way all the time. I was such a bad kid, such a smart aleck, too smart for my own good. I don't think I've ever seen her that mad. Ever. Like, just throwing it back in her face. Oh, my poor mom. Ah, crypto. Dude, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, that's terrible, brother. That you feel responsible for your mom's death. I'm really sorry, man. I'm sure if she were with us, she would tell you not to feel guilty. That you were doing the right thing. And you didn't know what would happen, man. There's no way you can predict something like that. And yes, Wet Coaster, absolutely. You hear your first and middle name, you know the crap is coming down on your head. Now your nickname is too. Yeah, same with me. Same with me, Mystery. Rule number one: do not use logic on your mother. It never ends well. That's a really good point, Wet Coaster. Absolutely. Oh, Jordan, I'm glad. I'm always pleasantly surprised to hear that people are still using the Ravenport walkthrough, and I'm glad it's still helping people. It's been well over a year now, probably pushing a year and a half at this point that came out, and I know people. I mean, Farming Sim 19 has not gone away. It's still out there, and plenty of people are still enjoying it. But thank you, I appreciate that, and I'm glad you've enjoyed it, man. There's lots of videos on my channel, not just tutorials and stuff, but yeah, we stream. Fun Boy, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one and a common one too. Maybe Wet Coaster, I haven't followed that rule so well, and that could be why I've never been married. Just saying. I'm really sorry you feel that way, Crypto. I'm really sorry. I don't know the details of it, obviously, and I don't expect you to share them. But I hope you can find a way to forgive yourself at some point. I'm sure your mother would say the same thing. Mr. That's actually that's a good strategy, Mr. E. Make you look up other words to say the same thing. That's actually good. I like that. Well, you're in good company, PC Geek. A lot of the people who watch my streams and other stuff learned the same way. It's really up to this point is my claim to fame, the Ravenport walkthroughs. Like, it's what has brought more people to Harvest than anything else. And if you guys ever have questions, there is a link to the Harvest Discord in the stream description down below. So feel free to join us and ask your questions. There's so many people there actually can play the game as well as, if not better than I can, because I don't have as much time these days as I did back then. But they are there, ready, willing, and able to answer anything you might have. So feel free to take advantage of that. Well, fear is a powerful thing, Crypto. Fear is very, very powerful. Oh, there you go, Mr. E. Shakespeare has some fantastic, really fantastic insults. And they're generally pretty hilarious, actually. I think I'm going to be off by now. Maybe we've got it, just got lucky on that. Ooh, good. Yeah, don't, if you have a driving question, don't ask Sharko. Or if he responds, wait for somebody else to respond and do what they say. This is Sharko we're talking about here. This is going to be a ridiculous amount of bales. For me, Mystery, it's Henry V. I like Henry V. Once more unto the breach. This may be the first time we've discussed Shakespeare on Harv's World. Welcome to English 101. Everybody hated studying Shakespeare. Hated it. I'm not going to say studying it was the most entertaining thing on the planet, but there is some interesting insights that you can get from Shakespeare if you take the time. I don't think I'd want to go back to class for it, though. I'll own it. Well, did Shakespeare know that a horse is a horse? Of course, of course. Not particularly PC geek. Um, what I have found personally, I mean, the advantage for me, especially with auto load bale trailers, is um, it's faster and easier to bale just because on a bale trailer I can get 180, 200,000 liters of straw as opposed to a forage wagon, for example, picking up straw, and I can only get 48,000 liters before I have to go emptying. Now, that's assuming we haven't modded anything to hold a lot more, but that is very, very possible. Jordan, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Very, very much appreciate that. Glad to have you with us. That's a fair assessment, Mystery. I think that comes to that could be applied to all of us. Well, we won't go into detail about street justice either, but I hope it helped you get through it a little bit. No, thank you, man. None of this is possible without people like you. I know that sounds kind of cliche, and you hear that kind of thing all the time, but it is actually very true. Impolite discussions with your lit teacher about the benefit of classic literature and what constituted quality writing. I can almost hear that now. What is the golf club called? What do you mean, Eric? What golf? Oh, Gold Club. Oh, did we ever come up with a name for the Gold Club? I feel like we did. That's right, Mr. E. Exactly. What are gold What did we call gold members? I mean, if I was a gold member, I'd want to be called the Golden Bozo. But I don't think that's what we what we came up with. See, this is when I need Caveman and Churka. They're partly my memory these days. The Golden Harvest Club, that's not bad. Doing pretty well, all things considered. I've been telling, and I should actually get this out there again since we're later in the stream and more people. This is going to be the last stream for at least 2 weeks. I hope to be back 2 weeks from today, but I am moving this week, so I will be without internet for a while. It just depends on how soon I can get it installed and what the capacity is gonna be for that. So we will see, but I'm gonna get it all taken care of as soon as possible. The Golden Kings. That's pretty good. I like that. Philip Dant, good to see you too, man. How you been? What's the good word, man? Here soloing today. Sharko and Caveman are out and about with their respective mothers. Oh, I hope they're with their own mothers and not with each other's. That would be kind of awkward. Just a little bit. Stream appears to be running fairly well. Last Sunday, there was a really strange turn of events at the end of the stream. I mean, we were just about to wrap up anyway, but then all of a sudden my whole system crashed. Like, boom. It would have taken 10 minutes for me to get the stream back up just to say goodbye. So I apologize for the abrupt departure last Sunday. It wasn't intended. Yeah, it was weird. Like, just instantly, everything disappeared off my screen. The game hard closed, Streamlabs hard closed, like every program I was running. I don't know what happened. You are the man, Eric. I think Eric has to be in almost a class by himself. Not quite, but almost, because he has literally watched every single video that's ever been posted on Harv's World. He went through them all. That poor guy. He suffered all of it. Oh, I always drive safely, Crypto. Although I had a really weird situation a couple weeks ago. Somebody apparently got upset with me for something and was chasing me down the highway. Like, I still, to this, like, I've thought about it. I don't know what was going on there. We have a log that we missed. Because I know I didn't cut him off. I don't know. He was chasing me down the highway, though. I will say that I have government plates on the vehicles I drive for work. So I don't know if that was an issue for him or what. But whatever it was a little bit unnerving. I finally outran him, let's say. We'll leave it at that. Philip, I've just been live streaming because honestly, I've been traveling every week for work. So on Monday, I will run 350 miles, stay in a hotel all week, working, and then Friday afternoons, I drive 350 miles back home. I'm finally moving to that new location because places to rent in Nevada are like pulling teeth to find something. I'm not 100% happy with the place that I've got, but it came to a point where it's like, you know, you're not going to get everything, and it's relatively short term anyway, so just, you know, do it. So I'm finally moving this week. It's going to be a couple weeks with no internet, or at least a week with no internet, but have my internet here probably shut down this Friday, and then I won't be back at least for 2 more weeks. Work has been very, very intensive as well, not just with the travel, but with all the training I have to go through. So I hope to get things back to normal in the not too distant future. I don't know what that looks like yet, but one thing that I still have been able to do is stream on the weekends. So that's what I've been doing just to keep things active for everybody who likes to join in. And Lifehawk, I hope you're feeling better today, at least maybe a little bit. I hope you don't mind, but I did ask everybody to keep you in their thoughts and prayers. I know how private you can be, but I didn't feel like, asking people to care about you was a bad thing, so I hope you don't mind, brother. Agreed, Crypto. Agreed. Some people are just weird. Who knows what it takes for somebody to get their panties in a twist anymore? Not much some days. The never-ending field of oats. What was I thinking? Well, I'm doing this. Oh, our other field is ready to harvest too. And that's going to have straw on it as well. Well, that won't get done today. Right, Lifehawk. A week with no internet, why live? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good thing I've got a big collection of movies. That don't get dusted off nearly often enough, so I will have the opportunity to do that. Absolutely, Atomic. I'm a little bit concerned about how good a quality internet I'm going to be able to come up with. I hope it's respectable. Keep your fingers crossed on that account. Because if it's much less than what I've got right now, it might turn back into videos only and no streaming. Because I think I'm about at the point where, we've had struggles with the streams as it stands at the speed I have available to me right now. So we'll see how it all works out. It's part of it's the downside of being in rural areas. I think I'm going to get a mechanical baler and just make Sharko pull it around the field. You're still on dial-up, Atomic? Seriously? I remember the days of 56K. I remember the days of 26 point... wait, was it 28.8? I think it was. Something like that. That's a fair point, Philip. I'm only I don't know, two or 300 miles from Area 51. I've not seen any interesting things in the night sky yet. I hope to, though. $9,600 baud. Oh, it won't be that bad, but I've seen speeds as low as 200 megabytes per second. And I really hope I'm not throttled down to 200 megabytes per second. That would be bad, okay? Screeching? What screeching? I did not hear any screeching. Did something go awry? That's right, Midge. You had to sacrifice... yeah. Sacrifice a robot to the internet gods just to check your AOL. I think we've had that discussion before. How many people still have those stupid CDs from AOL? They made really good coasters. I swear we used to get like one a week in the mail. At least one a week. And I don't even want to know what that cost them. Not that I care. AOL made plenty of money. AOL is still out there, by the way. It's not the same as it used to be, but you can still find some AOL stuff out there. They were kind of strange too, because they were like building their own internet. Like you could be on AOL, and while you were connected to the internet, you were locked into what they had available, not just the World Wide Web kind of thing. Yeah, I don't. I'm sure I don't have any anymore. I'm sure they all got thrown away. But I'm impressed that you guys hung on to them. Those might actually be worth something someday. Well, happy Mother's Day right back to Karen, Kevin. I'm sure you know she was included earlier, but we'll give her a special one. Happy Mother's Day, Karen, just for you, dear. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Happy Mother's Day to Marilyn in Australia, the young lady I've always called my mother from down under, and she happens to have the same first name as my mom did. She's very sweet. I haven't chatted with her in quite some time. She's found other interests, so good luck to her. You got AOL discs in your cereal boxes? That would be funny. I'm sure you're right. I think AOL did start the whole instant messaging thing. Although that may, yeah, that's probably true. I know chat rooms and the like. That was something that was around long before the internet was available. Because I remember chat rooms on the college computer networks that I used to use for school. All the way back to Windows 3.1, 3.0, and DOS. I'm not sure whether to be impressed or to feel sorry for you. There's this show on TV called Hoarders. We might be talking to the next one of the next people on that show. Wow. Oh, totally remember that. You've got mail. Oh, I totally remember BBSs. Absolutely. Bulletin board systems? Absolutely. And yes, ICQ was one of the first instant messaging programs. I remember using ICQ. Well, I'm betting that you're on fiber optic 1 gigabyte connection, Mr. E. So yeah, in a metropolitan area, I would expect that. Out here, not so much. Nevada is very rural. Oh, that's cool, Atomic. That's absolutely cool. A Windows 98 computer. Wow. Could be worse. It could have been 95. I think I started, and in fact, I know I started on Windows 95. And somehow Caveman and Sharko aren't here, and we've kind of shifted to tech talk anyway. Yeah, exactly, Mystery. That's what I expected to hear. We don't have anything available that's quite that fancy where I'm currently parked. Windows ME Millennial Edition, yeah. What was that other one that was so bad too before Windows 7? I can't even remember the name of it now. Windows something horrible. Somebody will tell us. Right, Mystery? No. Wow, David, very cool. CPM. PC Geek, actually, there are a few of them, and I've got one installed. There's one that I like right now. It's only for dry goods like lime and no. You can place a pallet for anything, but not liquid fertilizer. But the pallets are only $100. It looks like a pallet, and the nice thing about it is, especially if you've got like place anywhere, or where you can place on fields that you don't own or areas you don't own, they look just like pallets that a truck has dropped off, and you can place them next to your field, and they only cost $100. And so it's $50 basically to have stuff delivered to your field plus the cost of the stuff, which I think is pretty cool, and I love them. They're very slow to load. It takes a long time to get loaded from them, but that's a small inconvenience compared to how flexible they are. Harley, how have you been? Good to see you again. I know you like to lurk and aren't always chatty, but happy Mother's Day to you if you're a mother, and if you're not, happy Mother's Day to your mother. Hockey Boy, it's really up to you. FS19 is still a fantastic game. I don't see any reason to get rid of it if you're happy with it. But at the same time, FS22 does have some nice quality of life improvements that does make the gameplay a little bit nicer in some respects. Some would argue that FS19 is still the better game. Just depends on what you're looking for. But this pallet right here, this is actually a seed sale point. So if I back my seeder up to this, I can load up with seed. And there's one for everything. Holy crap, I barely touched this field. Not going to get this done today. And I've already got 160,000 liters of oats. What was I thinking? I think what we're feeling in 22 right now is the shortage of maps. At least that's what I'm feeling. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like maps are coming pretty slowly. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of maps, but the maps that I like to play, I'm not seeing them yet. The best map out so far, in my opinion, is Calmston Farm by Oxygen David. Mr. E, that's a good point too. Store delivery, you can have anything delivered right where you need it. If you're on PC, console players cannot use store delivery though, and the pallets they can. Do I have any idea when the insert question here? Yes, I know. I often accidentally hit the stupid enter key when I'm trying to type. Yeah, Frankenmuth is not a bad map. I think I did one or two streams on that when it first came out. That has been a long time ago now. Just for my impromptu streams on Friday nights. I actually considered looking at Alien Jim's map today on stream, but decided against it because I wanted to focus on mothers today instead of a new map. So no idea, Crypto. You'd have to talk to the actual modder who made it. That's exactly what I'm saying, Mystery. There are some good maps, but none of them are really turning my crank at the moment. You know, really making me go, man, I want to play that. Sign me up. I do know that Lancy Boy is working on an FS22 version of Stone Valley. I'm pretty excited to see when that comes out because I didn't get to play it for 19. And I do know that Oxygen David is working on a new map as well. And the only thing he's shown off on it so far is the mini map, or you know, the actual map itself. This. He says it's not ready to show screenshots yet, so. There's been serious discussion about moving Nevada closer to Texas. No, there hasn't. In Lifehawk's mind, there has been. But that would be kind of interesting if you could actually physically move a state. Oh well. Those are discussions better left to the drunk. Yeah, Waldstetten does look pretty good. And everybody does love No Man's Land. But then Alien Jim just came out with kind of a new version of No Man's Land called The Western Wilds. That dropped on ModHub Friday. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and that could be interesting. Something to change things up a little bit from, I mean, at least a change of scenery from No Man's Land. I was really surprised to see him come out with another open map like that, because he's got so many good original maps. I mean, one of the Alien Gym maps in FS19 that I really enjoyed was Washoe, Nevada, and Mercury Farms. I like those both a lot and played the heck out of them when I was a new farm sim player. I think Texas has absorbed enough already. And yeah, we all know at this point, don't mess with Texas, and everything's bigger in Texas, and there's the yellow rose of Texas, and yeah, it's Texas. Absolutely, Lifehawk. I really liked Alien Jim's maps in 19. I felt like they were what I would have called good, solid, intermediate maps. So when you're a new player, you get sick of Ravenport. You've got it all. You're starting to get it all worked out, but you don't quite know the intricacies yet. Alien Jim likes to add little things to his maps to help new players advance to the next level. That's kind of how I always saw them. And just little things where you have to work for it, but you could make money other ways besides just farming. Like I know on Mercury Farms in Washoe, Nevada, you could haul fuel, diesel. You could buy it retail or wholesale and then haul it and sell it for retail and make a few $1,000 doing that. You could sell manure to the greenhouses to make some extra money on the side, that kind of thing. So it wasn't just contracts and farming. He actually added some nice stuff to his maps. Um, and I always felt like that was more in place to help newer players along and get into farming sim a little bit easier without the constant battle and repetition of, you know, cultivate, seed, fertilize, harvest, cultivate, seed, fertilize, harvest, collect the milk, sell it, collect the milk, sell it. So uh, first of all, I didn't know you were in Southern Oregon, Atomic, which is pretty cool. You're not that far from me. Second of all, I know there has been a push for southeastern Oregon to join Idaho because um, the western part of Oregon, and we are not going to talk politics here. I'm just going to talk logistics. This is not political, but there's a big divide in Oregon between the western half being more in tune with the Democrats and the western half being more in tune with Republicans. And Idaho happens to be a very, very Republican state. And so especially the farmers and ranchers and folks who live in central and eastern Oregon feel like they would be better represented by Idaho than Oregon. That's actually pretty interesting. And if you told me that you were from Southern Oregon, Atomic, and I've forgotten, I apologize. The old memory ain't what it used to be. Sussex is. I'm not sure I'm understanding that, but I get Sussex. Oh yes, yes, Sussex is neat too. You're right. Sussex Farms was another Alien Gym map. Yes. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Texas has its own power grid. That's right, and it actually caused them some problems recently because of weather. I think their power grid went down for a significant amount of time because the weather kind of killed it. Open spuds. And yeah, his maps always did seem to have a purpose. They were laid out. Well, they just had a natural flow to them, I think, really. Alien Jim's maps did. When he did full blown farming maps, yeah. You do an open map like No Man's Land, or now in this case, the Western Wild, you don't really have to worry too much about flow. Yep, that's what I remember, Mystery. That there was a huge power outage in Texas because they were off the other two grids and they um, couldn't handle everything that they had coming at them. Too Cool has never seen in the same room as the Texas Power Grid. Yes, I have noticed that, as a matter of fact. And yes, I know that's not quite what you said, but that's what we're going with. Alright guys, this has been a really, really fun stream. I have enjoyed it, but I have got a lot of work to do between now and Thursday. Wow, $10,000 power bills. And I'm sure a few months after that the bankruptcy courts were full. Good Lord. Anyway guys, go appreciate your mothers, guys and gals. Make sure you call your moms, send them some flowers, give them a card, take them out to eat, do whatever you can to show these amazing women how special they are to us. One day a year, not taking them for granted. I think we can all manage that. And those of us who wish we had that one day to show them some appreciation, we'll be thinking about those of you who do, and thinking about our moms and how great they were. Anyway, guys, as always, I very, very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. We will see you as soon as possible. And until then, take care.